Last December, I was snuggled up on the couch with my husband, dogs, cat, and our 8-year-old, C, lost to the world on his dad's iPad. My husband asked, "How was the book club last night?" A dear friend, who also has an 8-year-old, had invited me to join. Our boys were buddies, until one fateful play date last summer when C, the smaller of the two, ran to me in tears after getting hurt. It wasn't life-threatening, but it wasn't the first time this had happened, so I scooped C onto my lap and launched into Mommy Fix-It mode. My friend and I helped the boys work it out, and the day ended happily with a big group hug. Fast forward to a week later, when news of this transgression reached C's real mom. She demanded that our boys no longer see each other and that my friend never be around her son again. I am a stepmother, that is. An evil archetype defined through the ages, from mythology to Shakespeare to Disney. My family lives in the precarious world of shared custody and hurt feelings. C is a modern amalgamation of Northern California and West Virginia genes. And while he's mastered the navigation between two very different households, his two very different sets of parents are still figuring it out. As the cliche goes, being a stepmother can be a thankless job. You're always there, but you're never mommy. You're never first choice, but you're often first to blame by the real mom when she's angry, afraid, or hurting. And yet, at its core, being a step and bringing up someone else's child, full on, with love and without expectation, is the most spiritual work I've ever done. For me, it's required another kind of step. Well, 12 of them, actually. Oh, some of you get that. That changed my life a long time ago. But it's the unofficial step, the one where you've got to put on your big girl panties and get grateful. Then, get over your past, your needs, your wants, your hurts, and your hopes that anything will ever be any different than it is right now. Because how you show up right now is all that really matters. I've been digging for meaning half of my life, relentlessly trying to heal what is broken. But I'm no saint. Letting go of blame and anger is never easy, especially when it feels justified. Yet letting go is what saves me every time. Still, even with all that digging, it wasn't until he came into my life, not my husband, but C, a 55-pound measuring stick of my character, that I truly understood my purpose, which is to learn how to love unconditionally and to put another's needs above my own, especially when it hurts. This is something I thought only real moms understood. And then I remember my step, Chris, the first C in my life, and the third man I called father. Now I know today's all about mothers, but I wouldn't be here had it not been for the stepfather who showed up for me every day, despite my rejections, and modeled what real love is all about. He healed our family. And in the beginning of my own step journey, when I wondered if little C would ever love me, my mom always reminded me of my step and how much I loved him. Then there's Cole, my second C, the pound puppy I thought I'd rescued, but ended up rescuing me. The day I brought him home, I called my mom, crying, "He's gonna die someday." And I knew in that moment why I had never married or had a child. I was just too afraid of feeling that kind of love, knowing that I'd lose it someday. So, thanks to Chris and to Cole, my heart was ready to open up to a man, and with him came a boy, and with him came a real mom. I'd love to tell you that we're all living happily ever after. Many days that's true. But sharing a child can feel like losing a child, no matter who decides to divorce. The fallout can be devastating. Guilt, regret, heartache, anger, and rejection. Turns out that real parents know the sting of this one too. But it's not personal. we really are, all of us, doing the best we can with what we have in any given moment. Still, I was afraid to come here and share my story because I really didn't qualify, and the real moms might not accept me or relate to my pain because I'm a step. Which brings me back to the book club. My friends' friends were great, and I felt like I fit right in until we talked about the book. The central figure in the story was a baby with two mothers, lost by one and found by the other, who, tragically for both, didn't give the baby back. Understandably, the real moms in the book club were angry at the other mother, and I felt like I had no right to comment. But I pushed through my fear and shared what resonated for me in the story, that giving birth was not required to love or be loved by this child, and that both mothers were able to find forgiveness for each other and for themselves. So back to my husband, who knew the theme of the book and my answer to his question. Well, I had a good time, but it was a little uncomfortable when I realized that I was the only one there who hadn't actually given birth to a baby. C's head pops up. Now you gotta understand, when C's on the iPad, there's virtually nothing that can get his attention. But he looked up at me with an unsolicited smile on his sweet little face and proclaimed, "Well, you kind of gave birth. You have me." This is what I call a God shot, straight to my heart. I love words, and I love my dictionary. And I can see now that it was me who defined step as somehow not being real. Being a step has changed that definition forever. I now subscribe to the Velveteen Rabbit version, where you're only made real when most of your fur has been rubbed off by so much love. And I leave you with 3 more words as defined by Webster's. Love, a profoundly tender, passionate affection for another. Miracle, an effect or event manifesting or considered as a work of God. And step, as a verb, to move in measured steps as in a dance. Thank you.